Chopping it up with G and Z. Chopping it up. 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 Chopping it up.
Welcome to Chopping It Up with G and Z. MG, this is Z. What's going on, my brother?
Man, chilling. What's going on with you?
Man, this is my time of the year, dog. Like, I don't know what it is about the NBA playoffs, man. I get up more for NBA playoffs than I do any other time. So,
agreed.
For me, man, this beats football. I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people, but yo, NBA playoffs to me is like the best of the best of the best. So that's just my take on it, bro. What about you, man?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite playoff season. I just think what makes it good to me is there's so many games. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got to go and beat a team. You can't. It's not like a one and done like in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But it's not as boring as baseball playoffs either. So,
oh Lord Jesus, no. So, man, speaking of that, so we right now we are recording this. This is Thursday, roughly 9:20 p.m. Central Standard Time, and bro, one of the biggest meltdowns of all meltdowns has happened in it's just playoffs. This is why I love the playoffs, man, because not only do we get like some of the closest games that we've ever seen. Like I pulled up yesterday and watched, everything from yesterday's games. You got Joel Embiid hitting a freaking 3 in overtime to seal the deal and close it. You got, the first 2 games of the Brooklyn Nets and the Celtics series going down to the wire, where the first one goes down to the actual buzzer wire, and the second one is just like a comeback from the Celtics for the ages. And you got tonight, Minnesota literally melting down in the fourth quarter, blowing a 26-point lead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, bro, it just doesn't get any crazier, man. And these matchups are just insane. I have to say, man, this is probably one of the best first rounds that I've ever actually seen. Like, usually the first round, you get these 1-8 matchups and these 1-8 seed matchups, and you're just like, okay, this is going to be, 4-1 gentleman sweep or a big sweep.
Yeah.
But man, these first round, I can't even call half of these games sometimes, man.
Yeah.
So,
and the Pelicans don't win the game, and I was in my mind they were going to be the only team that probably got swept, like really swept. I thought the Pelicans. I thought the Pelicans would get swept, and I thought like Atlanta had a real good chance. But I think Atlanta plays really good at home, so I would think they would win at least 1 or 2 at home.
You would think so, but the way they look, I mean, with no Clint Capella, it's not looking too bright.
Yeah, that kind of throw them off because that's some of the easy points.
Yeah, I mean, Miami, Jimmy Butler is playing like Jimmy Butler circa 5-6 years ago. Jimmy Butler, like Jimmy Butler, Minnesota Jimmy Butler, like Chicago Jimmy Butler. It's crazy, man, because he's just getting easy buckets inside. And yeah, man, on top of that, like that even the Pelicans, you know what I'm saying? Like I actually thought that the Pelicans were going to get ran off the court.
Me too.
And now Booker's hurt. So man, I don't know. Right? This is just it's crazy, man.
What did they say about Booker? They said he out or he just like day to day?
He's out indefinitely, at least for the next 2 games.
Right.
But you got to think, man, a hamstring injury and the way it happened, like he turned and looked like, take me out now. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew something was happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. And they're not gonna really come out and say too much. So man, how far does Phoenix go without Book?
I think like Phoenix is good, but he's like a bulk of their outfit, so he has to be there.
Yeah, that's just the key cog, man. And I don't know. I mean, in the regular season, he went down for like maybe 5-6 games, and they were all right. But this is the playoffs, bro. So I can't see them getting past Golden State if they don't have Book.
Yeah, if I was them, I would play straight up the Pelicans because I think they could beat the Pelicans without him, and just let that series go how it go and let them rest. I wouldn't even try to bring them back.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's break this down real quick, man. Because there's a couple of games going on tonight. Of course, Minnesota just lost, so they're down 2-1 to the Memphis Grizzlies. There's also right now Golden State is playing Denver. They're up 2-0, and pretty much looking like that's going to be a straight sweep unless something crazy happens. It's the playoffs. You never know. So that's game going on tonight, man. But I wanted to talk about, man, the series that I think is probably the most exciting of the first round, and that's Boston versus Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so what are your thoughts so far? And I don't think we haven't podded since the series started. And I mean, didn't you pick the Nets?
No, I picked the Celtics.
You picked the Celtics. Okay, I was gonna say, man. So I thought you knew. I know I picked them Celtics to actually win out of the East because of the way they were playing. But man, what are your thoughts about these first couple of games, man?
Man, first of all, they're not playing no defense. It's gonna be hard for them to beat any team if they ain't playing no defense. And then the crazy thing for me is this is the first time I've seen like people like really bother Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Tatum and Brown are both big. You know what I'm saying? They're both big guards. You know what I'm saying? So they actually have the size to kind of frustrate KD, and that looks like what they're doing.
Well, man, the thing that it's kind of weird because to me, Boston has these long guards. You know, Tatum 6'9", Brown is what 6'8". Both of them wingspans probably like dang near 6'11", almost 7-foot wingspans.
Mm-hmm.
And then they play a straight switch style. And what's crazy is, man, everybody when they switch can guard a 1 through 5 almost.
I feel like everybody can, yeah.
Yeah, even Marcus Smart, who's only like 6'3", you know what I'm saying, 6'4", plays almost like when he guards somebody, it's almost like you know what I mean? Like a Draymond Green type, where
yeah, and he was frustrating KD.
Somebody who's 4 inches, 5 inches taller than him, and it looks like he's still doing because they're bodying him up, they're pushing him off of his spots.
Yeah.
And they're just making it hard for him, man, and it's working. It's somebody said it's almost looks like 90s bully ball, and it really does.
Yeah,
man.
it do. It feel like that. And it's crazy because I feel like Kevin Durant has been the same size since he's been in the league. You know what I'm saying? For the most part.
Yeah.
But this is the most I've seen like that work. You know what I'm saying? Because that was always the thing, like be physical with him, but he would still get off. It's like some at this point, it's working the best I've ever seen it work.
Yeah. Well, he talked about it after last night's game too. He said, man, look, every time I turn around, there's 2 or 3 bodies right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes it tough. I mean,
especially if you ain't got no other shooting, man. Like if we really playing 5-on-2, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got Joe Harris ain't playing. Seth ain't really like lit up nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dragic actually had a decent quarter in the third.
Man. Yeah.
But
dude, I sit there and watch the replay of the game, man, and I was like, bro, he'll probably get them extra minutes. He playing like Dragic of 2020.
Like Toronto Dragic.
Yeah. I'm like, man, okay. Shoot, but at the same time, man, like I still feel like that team cohesion to me, man, is something that people don't talk about more than what I think they should.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I've never played in the NBA, but I guarantee you that if you can get a team together and that team can play, you know what I'm saying, 3 seasons together, learn each other's tendencies, you know each other and what they like, what spots they like, blah, 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 learn the offense, know exactly where they need to be in the offense, know their defensive rotations, learn how to communicate on defense together. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that. They'll beat a team with 2 superstars with the quick. And I think that's what's happening right now in this Boston series, man. Like, I mean, this is literally year, 4 of Tatum and Brown?
Man, it's more than 4 because you got to think they was there with Kyrie too, right?
Yeah, 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're I've never seen them actually clicking like this on all cylinders. So, but again, like I said, man, we saw this in the regular season when they just was destroying people at the end of the season. So
Yeah, but you remember everybody was talking about Tatum and Brown weren't getting along.
yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened, but in like January, sometime in January, like Marcus Smart, no, it was Marcus Smart that called them all out. Marcus Smart was like, hey, y'all need to start passing the ball. Like he said it publicly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said it like publicly. And after that, I guess they called a team meeting. Don't know what was said, don't know what happened, but sometimes them fights, them internal fights turn into y'all got closer than ever. So
yeah, well, they definitely look like they don't look like they avoiding each other like they was earlier in the season.
Nope. Man, can we talk about Kyrie real quick though?
What do you want to say about Kyrie?
I'll let you go first, man.
Man, my thought is, I'm not a big fan of him. So I'm not a Kyrie fan at all. With that being said, I'm not going to say that he's not skilled because he's super skilled. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's playing like against like dummies. Like the moves he do is like blah, spin, spook, like a person here, or you put a cone here. This is what I do, and that's how it looks like he plays, man. But outside of that, man, I did like the fact though that he was like they called me these names, and he said the names in the press conference. He was like, they were calling me this, they were calling me that, they were calling me this, and he was like, well, shoot, if you're gonna say all of that, I want to see if you bout it, and I'm gonna return that same energy. And I was like, well, you can't be mad at that. So for me, I would have liked to see, like, obviously I know they was gonna find him, but I would have liked them to have a statement too, like, hey, we understand y'all coming to the game, we understand y'all gonna cheer and boo, but at the same time, you need to watch your language. You know what I'm saying? You need to watch what you say to these players because they're men just like you're men, and everybody should be respected. Like I wish the league would have said something to that effect about the Boston fans, which is crazy coming off of the Winning Time episode where they was really talking about the Boston fans.
I know, right? So that you're talking about like some just. I couldn't believe it because when we watched that game and then I watched Winning Time and I was like, bro,
yeah,
this was the perfect episode on the perfect day.
Yeah, like it was perfect.
This Boston series.
Agreed.
I'm like, ooh, boy. But no, man, so my thing with Kyrie is this, man. Like, again, one of the best handlers. I will say this, one of the best handlers of the ball
ever.
And one of the best he reminds me finishing of Isaiah. He does.
Okay.
Like when you go watch some of those old clips of Isaiah Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Like just the way he actually finished at the rim for being under 6'5" guard, under 6'4" guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of finishing at the rim, you don't see that. What Kyrie has, just all of the good English, the spins. I mean, bro, it's a pretty thing to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's amazing to watch it.
Yeah. At the same time, Kyrie's a weird dude. I'll just put it that way.
Definitely weird.
Some of the stuff I'm sorry, anybody who can say the earth is flat is a weird dude to me. I mean, I can't get past that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he probably be cool to hang out with, probably be interesting to hear some stories from. But if you think the earth is flat, man, I can't take you seriously for anything else. But
yeah,
I love Kyrie's giving back to the community. I love all that stuff. But
and I like his message and the things he talk about.
Yeah. But some of the stuff is just plain old weird, just weird. So
agreed.
That's my thoughts on Kyrie.
And you know what I used to say all the time about Lupe Fiasco.
Oh yeah.
I felt like somebody around him was super smart. And like he hung around this dude and he would pick up tidbits and he would say certain things and he'd be like, oh, that sounds cool. And then you would ask him to explain it and you'd be like, that don't make sense. And I not to the same effect as Lupe Fiasco, because I think Kyrie for the most part stays close to what he's good at. But he kind of reminds me of him like that. Like he knows somebody who's like really like super smart about everything. And somebody in his ear is like, let's do this or like do this. So some of the stuff he says is really like spot on. But some of the stuff he says is like super left field. You'd be like, what?
I don't know where that came from.
Correct.
At all. Yeah. No, yeah, and it didn't used to be that way. So
Nah.
I don't know.
But man, to me, man, any and I, you know what I'm saying? I think the same thing about like Kobe and Shaq too, man. Like anybody who wins a championship and can't hold it together to win multiple championships, you know what I'm saying? Like I always be like, and I've never heard LeBron say anything bad about Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Nothing questionable about him. He always says good stuff about him. But I mean, obviously everybody knows Kyrie doesn't like LeBron, so it had to be something there. But
yeah, but I mean, I've heard different stories, man. So who knows? Who knows, man? I do know that you know, for some players it's different, man. Like some players will come out and say, "Hey, you know, I played with LeBron and we never hung out." Period. But then we know we hung out with a lot of other players though, so it's not everybody gonna click just like real life. Even though you're on the team, it just may not click.
Yep,
they play well together. It's like Jordan and Bulls, them 96 Bulls when they was interviewing, they was like, Jordan, we never hung out with Jordan.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Learn how to play together. It's a professional. You got to be a professional. This is called professional NBA player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah. It is better when they're actually cool and they click in that way, but they don't have to win games. So
I mean, but you know the crazy thing is, like if you ever really think about any team that was like that you would put in that category of dynasty, the only team that I can think of that I haven't heard that nobody didn't like nobody was like the Bad Boy Pistons.
Oh yeah, they were all close.
Yeah, I think they were close. I think the Lakers,
Boston. I think those Boston teams.
They were
no.
Larry Bird and Kevin McHale did not get along at all.
Oh snap! Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale said he couldn't stand him.
Oh snap!
Man,
wow. I mean, I don't know, man. It's, but then again, watching Winning Time, I'm like, hey, they gelled together. You know what I'm saying?
But Larry Bird seemed like he was like I think the crazy thing to me is I think Larry Bird's back injury humbled him. I think if he never has that back injury, I don't think we talk about Larry Bird the way we do now.
Probably not. No, yes, we would, man. I'm sorry, dude. I think people I mean, it's different now, man, because you can go out and find YouTube videos of a lot of different things. And it's hard to actually look at Bird's career. And I think some people actually, you know what I'm saying, when they show Bird highlights, all they show was like a couple 3-point shots here and there. He did have a couple of, you know what I'm saying. I remember that one play he had where he missed it, went in for the rebound, and literally in the same motion, he rebounds the ball, goes underneath and like literally like scoops it for a layup. Little stuff like that. And people looking there like, that's not that dope. It's not as good as what we see nowadays, 360 off the backboard. You know what I'm saying? But when you watch his games, man, the dude was just sick with it. So
no, I don't never question his game. You know what I'm saying? I think his back situation is pretty similar to the rape thing with Kobe. Like when after Kobe went through the rape situation, he came back and he was a different kind of person.
Oh, just a different person altogether.
And I think it's the same thing for Larry Bird. Once he hurt his back, he was a different type of person. Because when you hear stories about him and Magic, they didn't like each other for like the 80s. It was like when they got in the 90s and they got older that they started like actually talking to each other. But for a long time, they didn't like each other at all.
Yeah.
No, and so man. Larry Bird pulling Magic to the side and being like, Michael's the future, let him have that. I don't think that conversation could even happen if Larry Bird would have been Larry Bird who was telling people where he was shooting from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true, man. And remember that series I was telling you about, the Icons Club or whatever? They go through that in that Icons Club talking about Magic and Bird's years, where it started off just, you know what I'm saying, tense as all get out, real rivalry, real hatred, real dislike, real disdain.
I think it to me, it seems like it was a real disdain on Larry Bird's part. I thought Magic was like, I'm gonna just beat him and smile about it.
Yeah, but Bird was a trash talker, man. I mean,
the more I hear stories, the more I be like, what?
Yes. Yeah. Some of the stuff he said was just like, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So man, anyway, man, any other series in the playoffs that you just like zoned in on, honed in on, or is like catching your attention? Because I told you, man, the one was with this Minnesota and Memphis series. Like I was for sure, I was just so for sure, man, that this cat Anthony Edwards would just like break out, and I felt like he was right on that cuff of superstardom. Bro, no, okay, so do you remember? I had this conversation, man, with Robin. I was like, dude, so do you remember Kobe's early years?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how when Kobe came in the league, he wasn't starting at all. You know what I mean? Like, and really it was the fans who kind of was like, put Kobe in. You know what I'm saying? Put Kobe in, because we saw these flashes. You know what I mean? Like these flashes, it was just like, this dude is doing stuff like, number one, he looked just like MJ, but he was pulling out moves like, oh, did he really just do that? Okay, this boy got some skills. I feel like that's the same thing with Ant, man. With if he can put it all together, I feel like this dude could literally be the next like superstar in the league. But then I see games like tonight, and I'm like, he's either on the wrong team, or he needs a new coach, or he can't be playing with Cat. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, man, I'm enthralled by this series, man, and because the team has talent, it's just they can't put anything together. And I feel the same way with Memphis too, though. Like with Ja, like all this talent, man, and I feel like they just play too freely and too dumb at times to win the championship.
I honestly think they play to the level of their competition.
Okay.
I think they play super to the level of their competition. Like, because you can't beat Brooklyn and Milwaukee 2 consecutive games by 30 points and be like decent without Ja. Both of those games without Ja, but they were up for him, and everybody was like, you know what I'm saying, into it. For them to lose that first game to Minnesota, I was like, what? How's that even, you know what I'm saying? How's that even possible? But to me, I think they would just play to their level of their competition. I honestly, to me, Anthony Edwards is J.R. Smith.
Really?
Yeah. But this is my thought though. Okay. When J.R. Smith first came in the league and Kobe came in the league, I thought they were similarly like talented players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've seen the difference. For me, the difference was one person was super dedicated to being great at what they were doing, and the other person was just like happy doing what he was doing. Because you think about it, J.R. Smith was super athletic for like the first 6 or 7 years. And then after that kind of faded away, he turned into a jump shooter. Imagine if he would have worked on his jump shooting like he did whenever in his later career, if he would have did at the beginning.
Yeah.
And if he would have been consistent every night and wanted to go out there and kill people every night, then that's Kobe. And that's what Kobe was. You know what I'm saying? When you hear them stories about Kobe or Allen Iverson talking about they all at the club and Kobe at the gym, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, and I mean, there's even, you know, we've all seen it, man, when Kobe was talking about this. The mentality of Kobe was just completely different, though. You know, we've all seen it where Kobe was talking about how, you know, cats were asking him, man, why don't you go out, blah, 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 blah. Kobe's like, okay, you know what? I'll go out with him, come back in 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or whatever. He said, if I go out with you, though, you got to come work out with me. So they would go out, come back at like 3, and then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock a.m., he knocking on their door like, come on, let's go. And they're like, man, what? Wow. Yeah. And he was like, that's the dedication you got to have if you want it. And it's hard to have. It's hard. You can't teach that sometimes, man. Like that's that inward hungry dog that just.
And imagine if Shaq was that dedicated when they played with each other.
Yeah, bro. Shaq even came out and said it, man. If I had that same mentality as Kobe, we'd have had 10 championships.
Yeah, because Shaq came in every year overweight every year and had to play his way into shape every year.
Yeah, man, crazy. Can you imagine though if Shaq was like
really about it, like he was supposed to be?
Oh my God. Ooh, yeah. The league would have had Shaq rules, which they already did have Shaq rules. They would have had to double down on some Shaq rules. Like, okay, we don't even know how to actually defend this. This is crazy.
Yeah, agreed.
So, man, all right, man. So, any other series you actually looking at? Like, ooh, okay.
I'm very interested in the Golden State series, and then not because I think it's gonna be a series. I just want to see if these dudes are really gonna gel like they look like they gel last game. Like, bro, if you get 30 from 3 people,
man,
bro, it's gonna be hard to beat that.
Man, now, so here's my thing with that, man. So like the Jordan Poole stuff, because the dude is like balling. All right. My only thing is that this is against Denver, and to me, Denver without their 2 other, you know what I'm saying, their number 2 and number 3, they don't have a good defense either. So I mean, it's hard to like say, okay, it's almost like the Miami series with Atlanta. Atlanta's defense sucks, especially without Clint Capella. So it's hard for me to judge what Miami is doing if they were going up against like a Celtics or a 76ers. No. I feel the same way. Now, in the next series, you know what I'm saying? If they go up against, you know what I mean?
Miami will go against Philadelphia.
Well, no, I'm talking about Golden State.
Oh,
so
okay.
Golden State gets by Denver. I think they would have to go up against who?
They go up against Memphis.
Is it Memphis?
Is it Memphis? Golden State ended up being 4th, didn't they?
Man, let me look because I got it. I swear I had it in here real quick. All right, West. It would be up against either Memphis or Minnesota. So I mean, if they go up against Memphis, man, they probably can still do some scoring. But Memphis has, I think, better defense and they're more disciplined than Minnesota is. So we'll see.
No.
But hey, man, pause real quick. I gotta go talk to the wifey. All right, man. So speaking of NBA, and our favorite franchise of all time, the Winning Time HBO series in regards to the 80s Lakers and that dynasty that was being built has drawn some interesting news.
Yeah.
So Jerry West, of course, Magic Johnson, a lot of the other cats who was there and played at the time, but this Lakers dynasty came out, of course, in regards to the series, stating their displeasure. Jerry West actually came out with lawyers asking for an apology from the show's director. Your thoughts, man, and your thoughts on the last episode, I should say.
Well, before I go into the thoughts, man, I think like before I go into like the super thoughts about it, when we go usually we go on the Times radio show, like, you know what I'm saying, every blue moon to talk about the Lakers. He always have us on to talk about the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And our friend Atan does a show with a writer named David Zirin. And Dave wrote an article about Winning Time that was like amazing. And so like, you read the article yesterday?
Yeah, I read the article today.
So in the article, he talked about how Jerry West was mad for being portrayed, but that's the same thing that he said about himself in the book. Then he said Kareem was upset about being betrayed that way, but it was the same thing that he said in his book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Magic didn't say, like, he just said he's not going to watch it. And obviously I understand because he got his own documentary, but to me, my thought would be like, you know, y'all watch it and I have my thing coming out. Don't mean y'all can't watch both, you know, because most people are going to watch both anyway. So, but with that being said, first of all, they say it's a dramatization. You know what I'm saying? They always say like, hey, this is, you know what I'm saying, we're exaggerating it a little bit to make it, you know what I'm saying? It's based off of some stuff, but this is not
loosely based on the truth.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that Jerry West really like threw the ball out of the thing all the time, but it looked like he might have did something. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? You can't lose. And I think Jerry West lost in the finals like 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a little bit in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might be some weirdness there. But back to my thoughts. I thought the way they portrayed Jerry West, it doesn't affect how I think of him as a person still. I still think he's the logo. I think he's one of the best Lakers ever, one of the best shooters ever. This thing, like, now he might really been crazy, but that changes nothing. Kareem's criticism where he was like, this is dreadfully boring. I was like, bro, come on now.
Stop it, Kareem.
Yeah.
Stop
you can say I don't like it. You can say I don't like how they portray me, but to say it's boring when we be, bro, I watch the series and like every show I'd be like, oh my God, I hope it don't end right now. Oh my God, I hope it don't end right now. And every time it ends, I'll be like, God darn it. I just need like 10 more minutes.
Yeah. Like there's only 3 more. I think there's only been like one episode. I want to say it was like episode 2 where I was like, okay, this was a little but every single one of them have been fire to me. And the last one was
that episode yet. Every episode has been great to me.
Yeah, and the last one was like super fire with the Boston.
Oh, bro, like it was like perfect for the Boston series, and they was like Norm Nixon was like, "Let me tell you what they're gonna call you," and it was like the little Boston sentiment. It's like, man, I was like, that's what I think they would say.
Leprechaun
Boston
pop up. Yeah. Like, let me tell you what the leprechaun is saying.
And I don't know how many people knew about the thing with Bill Russell, but that like said they had won a championship. They had just won a championship, and he came back to his house, and that was in his bed. And I was like,
defecated in his bed. Like, bro, this is Boston.
Yeah.
And I believe it.
I believe it too, because everybody always say Boston is the what they say, Mississippi or Alabama or the East.
Of the East, yeah.
So people always talk about how racist Boston is. So none of that surprises me, man. But I think Winning Time is amazing. I have watched every episode like Sunday night. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna watch this episode every night.
Yeah. And it's hard. I'll be trying to mix it in, man. But it's hard because I'm definitely trying to watch it as soon as it actually hits.
Yeah, I don't even want to miss a day. And I haven't had a show like that in a long time. Like as far as like something like it's been like since probably like Game of Thrones, where I was just really like, it's Sunday night. I gotta watch
carve out this block because I gotta watch this. Give me the hour real quick because I gotta watch this. But man, I gotta say, man, so a couple of things, man, especially with the Kareem bit. Because I love Kareem, dude. I hold Kareem very highly esteemed. You know what I'm saying? So like, and most of the stuff that he writes about, I'm very passionate about too. I agree with him mostly on a lot, not everything, because Kareem has said some things that I'm like,
yeah.
But most of the stuff that he gives insight on, and his columns, man, are very well crafted. You know what I'm saying? I like reading Kareem stuff.
Okay.
I will say this, however, the article he wrote about Winning Time just seemed very like in the same breath he kept saying, let me just say that I'm personally, you know what I'm saying, this doesn't personally affect me. However, Kareem, really? Come on, man.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting how he brought up his shyness, his extreme debilitating shyness is how he termed it. Because there are so many different stories about Kareem out there, as far as like Kareem never talked to fans. He was like the complete opposite of Magic. And as a matter of fact, Magic talked about it too. And I just want to tell this story because I thought it was so fascinating. So basically, after a game, Magic, excuse me, Kareem, there was a fan, a young fan, that was like, Kareem. And Kareem literally just like walked away, didn't say a word to the fan, blah, 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 blah. Knew he was there because, I mean, literally, there's no way you couldn't. Magic walks up. The same fan is like, Kareem, oh, Magic. And Magic like literally took him aside, took pictures, gave him an autograph, blah, 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 blah. The kid put the autograph up, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward like 20 years in the future, and Kareem's trying to get like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's moved on from basketball. Magic Johnson's business is booming. Kareem has this little stuff that he's doing. But Magic, of course, is, you know what I'm saying, doing 10 times to 100 times more than what Kareem is doing in business. And Magic is looking for financing for one of his restaurant businesses. And lo and behold, the kid who Kareem passed over actually was one of the people who started donating and helping, or investing, I should say, with Magic Johnson in one of his restaurant businesses. And he remembers that story to this day and still has the picture of him and Magic on the wall. So, I mean, that just, you know what I'm saying? Even though Kareem can actually say, hey, man, you know, I had this debilitating shyness, and I understand it completely. Like, we see that stuff with Tyson right now. Like, you can't just keep on talking to people all the time and then not affect them, especially somebody as tall as Kareem, who probably always dealt with, you know what I'm saying? Like,
being stared at
him a certain type of way, and so
people
forth and
looking
so
at
on.
you.
But at the same time, man, you know, when you give off that vibe of like, don't say a word to me, because if you say something, I'm about to punch in your mouth, which Kareem has over the years, then it rubs people a certain type of way, man. So, you know, it's a 50-50 situation. I can see it both ways. I understand Kareem's point of view, but at the same time, man, like, you can't complain about it when it's been the same talk over and over again.
It's the consistent story about you over and over. Like everybody has the same story about
Kareem.
Kareem.
Don't want people talking to you, so you know what I mean. So I don't know.
Yeah,
just a take on it, man.
I've never been a big. I mean, obviously, I like Kareem because he was a Laker. You know what I'm saying? We won a lot of championships with Kareem, and you know what I'm saying. I believe the skyhook was probably the most unstoppable move in league history. I give him that. Mm-hmm. But I was never a big Kareem fan, man. He always just seemed like he didn't, and I guess this is probably because he didn't have a personality, and Magic Johnson had such a big personality. You know what I'm saying?
Personality, yeah.
So he was never appealing to me. I was actually like Kareem. I probably was more interested in James Worthy. You know what I'm saying? And Kareem was like Byron Scott and Michael Cooper. Like I love what they did on the court, but I really don't know anything outside of what they
never
did
said
on the court.
Yeah. The only thing you knew about Kareem is some of the stances that he took.
And he was a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I know he was a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I know he had, you know what I'm saying? He was outspoken about a lot of stuff early on in his career that people wasn't, but that's it.
Yeah. But man, with that being said, one of the most powerful scenes in that Winning Time series to me was Kareem's talk with Magic Johnson's papa. In that scene where they all was eating at Magic Johnson's house for Thanksgiving, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When they went over that whole series and that trip out to Detroit and in Boston, and when him and his dad was talking, man, and you know he was just like, "Has your son always been like this? How could he be so happy when you know what I'm saying us as black men are treated so?" He was just like, "Man, it's the way Junior's always been." And I don't think he does see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, wow, this is powerful, dude. And he was just talking about, I grew up in Mississippi, so I know exactly what it is.
And I don't know, but then I think in the next breath, they went in and Magic Johnson was like, they bust us to so-and-so. So I went over there and this is like what I said I was going to do. Then I went to Michigan State and they said so-and-so. So I think Magic Johnson seen it. He just approached it a different way. Mm-hmm. I don't think he approached it like Jordan did.
No, it was completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, because Jordan had some comments that were just like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, Jordan. Republicans buy sneakers too.
That's not what I want to hear.
Always on him.
Bro, did you think about Magic Johnson not signing the deal with Nike though?
Well, so that's definitely a true story. So like a lot of this stuff is you know, they play loosey goosey on the show with a lot of the facts, but we do know, and Magic has even came out and said it. You know what I'm saying? Like him not going with that Nike deal cost him billions.
$5 billion.
Billions.
That's crazy.
And when you think about it, man, I mean, honestly, though, you know, we look at it in hindsight, but at the time, you know what I'm saying? We probably would have signed with Converse too. You know what I mean?
My thought is though, like this, the only thing, and you know what I'm saying? Obviously we know how it turned out, so it's easy to say what I was going to say. But my thought was like, the dude was like, well, you know, we're a small company. I can't pay you what they pay you. But he was like, I'll give you some, and people didn't know about stocks back then like they probably do now. You know what I'm saying? Because if you told somebody that now, it would probably be a different thing. But I think the biggest thing, the biggest thing for me was like he showed them the shoe that had Magic on it. And I was like,
Now I don't know if that happened in real life.
Yeah,
but I'm sure that I'm sure that they was like trying to pitch it like, hey, you will have complete creative reign, blah, 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 blah. But I think about this, man. Think about it. And I thought about it too, like, bro, why could you pass up on that? But what if Pro Wings came to you today and was like, Z, let's say if you had the opportunity to sign with Nike, Reebok, and I don't know, Adidas. And then all of a sudden, Pro Wings came to you and was like, we're trying to revamp our shoes. We want to give you all creative thought. And Z, you can have your Z on the title of the shoe. Would you choose to go with Pro Wing? Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be very lucrative, but it could also be a bust.
Bro, but my thought was, and this is what because when they were at the, remember they was at the table when Jerry West was trying to sell his business to the Great Western Bank, when he was like, y'all could be in business with the Lakers and blah, blah. And Magic came and sat at the table and he said, he was like, oh, Nike. He was like, they won't even be around next year. So my thought is like, I would have signed a deal with him if things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it was like a 1 or 2 year deal with options or something like that. It wasn't like a lifetime deal. So my thought is I would have signed that deal and seen how things would have went. And knowing that maybe in 2 years later, I've signed with Converse. You know what I'm saying? It can't hurt.
True. I mean, if you think about it that way, then yeah, true. But
yeah, Pro Wing told me, hey, we revamping our lineup, we doing this so and so, we'll give you creative control.
If you had Nike on the phone too saying, hey, we'll sign you. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't have. I would have been like, Nike. There you go.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's definitely a different time and a different, because now it's like tennis shoes is like established, and that's a different thing.
Back then though,
it wasn't. Yeah.
But that was it though back then, because Converse was the big name back then. Because Dr. J had the Converse, and then Larry Bird and Magic were on Converse too. So, and it's crazy how Converse is like, what? Yeah. I mean, everybody still got the Converse thing going, but it ain't as big as Nike, man.
It's not at all. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah,
man, crazy. My dad used to hoop in Chucks. I don't know how they did that.
I don't know how, bro. I'd have been like, my feet hurt.
But it's the same thing, man. These kids be when me and Alika be watching games up, he is hooping in low tops.
Bro, I say the same thing.
My ankle was sprained. Bro, I was spraining my ankle in the layup line. Like, bro, man. Z done hurt himself warming up.
I don't understand it either, man. It's new. It's new stuff. All right, man. So one of the things too that I kind of wanted to bring up, and we're gonna shift gears here. No cool way to shift gears from Winning Time series where you got cats making some good money playing basketball to us regular folk in regular life.
Yes.
Working regular jobs.
Yes.
Trying to get on by. Man, so there's not, and it was kind of crazy is, man, so we want to bring up economics in this episode, right? Yeah. We want to talk about inflation and the price of everything just going up, yes. Skyrocketing, and how crazy it is, and just how we feel it. You know what I mean? I think when people talk about inflation, there's different class of people who actually feel inflation.
Yeah.
And I think that and I feel like this is the reason why people hate the news is because when the news reports inflation, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll say, okay, well, you know, bread is up, you know what I'm saying, 40 cents, milk is up, you know what I'm saying, 20 cents, or, you know what I'm saying, gas is up to, you know, 20 cents up to $3.50 a gallon, blah, 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 whatever the case is. And I think what they miss is that for some people, bro, that's, you know what I'm saying? Bro. I can't afford this to go up 50 cents. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And dude, I was doing some research on before we actually started talking about it, and I'll give some of these numbers to you, and it just keeps bringing in my mind, like, who in the world can afford some of these prices?
Bro.
Because not only does the, you know what I'm saying, food and gas go up, but in our neck of the woods, housing has like jumped,
bro,
ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, ridiculous amounts of money. I don't see how people can afford to live when these house prices are just, it doesn't make any sense.
Agreed.
So I looked it up, man, and then I'm sorry, bro, I don't want to get too far into this without, you know, saying you jumping in and giving your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to give a couple of different stats on this, man. But so the average median income, and this was from 2020 for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And this is single person, no family, $25,600 annually. That's the median income for an Oklahoma resident.
Jesus. The
median income for a family, this is at least two-person household, $55,000. Yeah, $55,000 for median for two people family. And housing prices have shot up by roughly 40%. Bro, imagine this. So a house that used to cost $200,000 is now going to be up to around $270,000 to $300,000.
About $300,000. Yep.
Rent prices have jacked up as well, along with those houses. So a rent that would have been roughly around $800 a month is now up to around $1,100 to $1,200 per month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that being said, bro, I need your thoughts on this, man, because it shocked me when I was looking at it. Like, this is insane. And I'm surprised that nobody's talking about it more.
Bro, so like, man, like one of the these apartments out here, like the rent has went from like $900 to like $1,400.
That's crazy,
bro. And the thought is
that's
like
crazy.
nobody's getting paid an extra $600 a month out here. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's getting paid enough to support these prices, right? I so my wife, you know what I'm saying? My wife usually does Alika does all the grocery shopping. So I never really buy groceries. So the other day she hit me and was like, "Hey, can you get some man, I thought it was like some eggs and maybe some like ground turkey or something like that, or maybe some chicken or something." And so I work at the bougie store, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I went and checked the prices. I was like, that's really expensive. It was chicken fries and eggs. That's what it was. And so I was like, ooh, I was like, that's really high for a bag of chicken fries. Like, and I want to say it was like $8.50 for a bag of chicken fries. I was like, that don't seem right. I was like,
yeah.
I remember getting these bags of chicken nuggets and chicken fries for like $6. So I was like, I'll go to Walmart. It's gonna be cheaper there. And the eggs was like almost $4 for like a 18 pack. You know what I'm saying? And it was Easter, so I needed some eggs to, you know what I'm saying, boil. Well, when I get to the place that's supposed to be cheaper, it was actually like $2 higher on the chicken fries. The chicken fries was $10.60. I was like, what? Yeah. And the eggs was like $4.80. I was like, bro. So
man.
and my thought is like, man, you know what I'm saying? It was, to me, I'm just being cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this is a whole bunch of money. But man, you got to think about it, man. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? People are getting increases in there. Like, we still talking about $15 for a minimum wage. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? And $15 a minimum wage is not going to get you $55,000.
No.
Let's talk about that too. So my thought is, there is no way that people are going to make it. Like, especially if you live in check to check trying to survive, there's no way for you to make it when things are going up this high. So I actually, I heard something the other day where they said, like, if things continue this way, they said in another 6 months, we're going to have like a recession, like a bad recession where everything, like everything like blow up. And my thought is like, there's no way that people can afford this with, one of the things too, and then not to whatever, but there was a dude and he was talking about it. He was like, I got a raise at work, and my raise at work was a 4% raise, but inflation is 9%.
Don't balance.
It don't balance at all. So you're talking about, you gave me a little bit more money. I can't afford stuff though. That's it. That's all. That's what I had. You know what I'm saying?
So, man, I always like to take a step back when I look at some of this stuff, because a lot of times I feel like people don't talk about it because, number one, you know, a lot of people don't like to talk about what they make. And, you know, it's a point of reference where people get very defensive about it or ashamed about it or whatever the case is. And I think I think social media does have a point of somewhat to play in this, because so many people rep this lifestyle of, hey, you know,
we always on vacation. We got these nice cars.
Blah, 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 blah. And I feel like, you know, people feel like if they're not on that level, then I don't want to talk about it, blah, 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 blah. But I can guarantee you that there's more poor people than there are rich people.
Agreed.
There's a reason why there's always been more poor it's and less rich people. That's just the way it's always going to be. However, in this country that was supposed to be prided on, you know, middle class, having a middle class or having a so-called middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class,
working class,
or even those living, you know, above the poverty line that could actually live and still have exposable income. Bro, that exposable income is getting clutched right now. And I feel like people don't like talking about it, but it needs to be talked about. And I feel like if people would just really look at the big picture, like, so there are more poor people than there are rich people. And unfortunately, if you live in the South, Southwest, Midwest, whatever you want to call it, this is Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, that you can go to Louisiana, you can put all those states in the same category, is that the median household income is going to be roughly around that mark, 60,000, 70,000, 75,000. There's not a lot of people who make, $250,000 at their job or more every year. There's not a lot of people that make that. Yeah. If you do, God bless you. Congratulations. High five. You know what I'm saying? Good for you. But I don't feel like in the grand scheme of things, that's very decent money and you're doing very well for yourself. But in the grand scheme of things, you are literally in the top like 10, 15% of the population because most people do not make that money. Right. Most people are going to be down in this bracket where, hey, we got to tighten up the reins. Most people are going to be in that range. Yeah. And I feel like that if people would just stop thinking, oh, I make 80 and you only make 70. No, you're in the same category, people.
We're all in the same category. Yep.
Like just because you make 80 and somebody makes 70, you're not up there yet. Stop it. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. We're all in the same boat. Instead of just being like, oh, well, I make 95 or 99 or whatever the case is. So I look down on the person making 80 and a person making 80 looks down on the person making 70. Bro, we are all in the same boat here. So my thought, and that's just the way we should like approach it. And I think that's why people get so turned off when they hear news stories and they hear people on the news talking about it, because you look at them and you're like, this doesn't affect you. So you can talk about it as if it's not affecting you. But the person who only brings in $25,000 a year and their rent goes from $800 to $1,400 a month, they're gonna have to cut something. Something has to get cut because they can't afford it. So what gets cut? First the non-essentials are going to get cut. Cable, stuff that you can live without is going to get cut. Yeah. Like even me and my wife were talking about the other day. She was like, baby, we spend too much money going out to eat. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to cut that. But I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to save a little bit of money, I guess we're going to have to. But I don't want to. But but literally, and if we were up in that bracket of $500,000 a year, then yeah, we probably would be like, don't really care. We DoorDash in the night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but it affects everybody. And I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough because the way it affects people, we can talk about it in a certain way where, yeah, I mean, we feel it, but we don't feel it the same way somebody else feels it. And I feel more inclined to speak up for that person who's like, hey, man, I got to cut something. You know what I mean? Whether I got to sell a car, sell a house, you know what I'm saying? I have to move because I can't afford where I'm staying, which, you know what I'm saying? It supplants everything about your life. You're going from a 3-bed, 2 house that you're paying rent for, or you had a mortgage on and you having to, you know what I'm saying, leave that and go to an apartment, whatever the case may be. You can't afford a 3-bedroom apartment, so you have to move into a 2-bedroom, and now your kids have to stay in the same room. I mean, there's all these different things that are happening because of this inflation, and people aren't talking about it, but people are definitely feeling it. You know what I mean? So that's all.
It's crazy to me, man. Just like, so you mean to tell us the economy was so bad a year ago that we were getting stimulus checks?
People send out checks. Yes,
they were giving us stimulus checks to keep the economy moving, and we feel like 12 months later that the economy is so strong that we're going to increase rent 40%. We're going to increase household goods 20-30% across the board. Yeah. Gas is going to go from $2.49 to $3.79. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that don't make sense.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that the market, or the people who are in the market, the gas companies got like, I think a record number of profit. I can't even tell you what that profit was. You know what I'm saying? In the billions, of course, but it's just insane to me that a company can make these profits while on the backs of the same people who and nothing gets done. Like nothing gets done about it. Bro. Like, man, okay. That's just the way it goes. And that's just the way business is. And let some people talk about it. And they're just like, well, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it happen. Okay.
Bro,
if that's, bro,
$80,000 is like like after like insurance and everything like that, it's probably like $2,100 every paycheck.
You know what's crazy, man? I remember when we was little, I used to think $100,000 was like just that's where you want to go. That's where you want to be at.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, it's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's it. Okay.
It ain't
cool.
it ain't what $100,000 ain't what it was. Yeah,
No.
when we was little. Yeah.
When we was little, I mean, when we was little, man, if you thought somebody was making 100 grand, you were like, yeah, you made it.
When we was little though, you could probably make 50,000 and be good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you think about our parents, man. Our parents were they weren't, you know what I'm saying, like we didn't grow up, we grew up, you know what I'm saying, on my side, we was little medium poor, but you know, we were lower class, lower middle class, blah, blah, blah. We stayed at Gilcrease Hills, moved out from the hills, moved over to, you know what I'm saying, the east side of town, blah, 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 blah. My parents only made, my dad was a machinist. My mom was X-ray tech. You know what I mean? Like, but together, they were actually to afford to get a home and 3-bed, 2-bath home, little mini home, blah, 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 blah. Had 2 cars. We had 3 cars. My first car was that Chevrolet Celebrity, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, bro, they were able to afford a life. Now I feel like even with 2 parents, like on top of that, trying to help out with college and everything else, man.
Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot, especially trying to with a family and all these bills and these extra things, man. It's crazy out here, man.
Yeah, it is, man. Hey, well, I say all that, man, just to say, hey, regular folk, speak up. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I think there should be I don't know, man. I'm visionary like this. I just feel like there should be a regular folk union. All regular folks join a union. You know what I'm saying? Like the working regular folk union of the United States of America. Everybody get a voice. You know what I mean? Like we gonna all make it work for everybody.
But that's what voting is supposed to be, man. And the crazy thing, and I definitely don't want to start this conversation, but I want to say it though. To me, there are so many dirt poor Republicans that are racist, and they're more concerned about black people doing better than them actually worrying about their situation.
Yeah, they vote based off of you know what I'm saying?
What's that thing called?
The
Southern
you talking about the evangelicals, Southern evangelicals?
Well, it was something that Richard Nixon did, or maybe a little bit before Richard Nixon, where they was like, they like when they went to Republicans and they was like, hey, we're just gonna base all our stuff on Southern people being racist. All our policies will be about like crime and punishment, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that they talk about, man. If we all sat down and was like, bro, how is your pockets looking? And how is your pockets looking? Let's make sure we get some more in our pockets. Man, none of that would matter. A lot of this stuff wouldn't matter at all.
No, it wouldn't. But bro, and you know what's crazy too, man? And I just want to say this, I didn't want to bring up politics in this podcast, but I'm glad I'm an independent, man. I'm just gonna say it that way. Because as much as I can't stand these Republicans and what I hate saying I can't stand them, but no, I can't, because they crazy. They be saying the most outlandish, crazy stuff. And anybody who supports marching on Washington just to try to keep Trump in office, you crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna say that you crazy. But on the same side of the token, I'm watching these Democrats and I'm like, man, y'all crazy too. Just crazy. Be talking about some crazy stuff. Like it's to me, it's not on the same level of crazy.
Agreed.
But it's still crazy. And you bro, just common sense stuff. Just do common sense stuff. Like I saw where and you know, we in a whole bunch of different sports groups on Facebook, and everybody was like talking about how they allowed the trans lady to wrestle or whatever the case is. And she just, or swimming. It was the swimming one where they allowed the trans lady to actually compete against other women, and she like literally just mopped up the whole competition. And it had everybody all up in arms, like, why would they do that? Blah, 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 blah. And of course, people vote based off of that. Yep. And when they see stories like that, they're like, well, this is a Democrat thing, because Democrats want them to have these kind of rights, blah, 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 blah. And Democrats will be like, we want them to have these rights. And I'm in the middle just thinking, why don't you just make a transgen group and all the trans people can compete against other trans people? Like, and if there's not enough, unfortunately, you don't get to compete against somebody, it's just, to me, that's fair. Like this, I'm not gonna come out in either which way. Like, doesn't that seem simple to you, or is it just me being dumb to the whole deal? I just don't get it, man. So like,
the trans
people vote based on that. That's the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you talk about that kind of stuff, trans stuff or gay stuff, or if you talk about race stuff, that's what people vote on. They don't vote on anything else but that. And meanwhile, the rich is up there getting richer, hood swindling, basically making backdoor deals, and literally laughing on the way to the bank at everybody else's expense. Democrats and Republicans. So that's just my thing on it, man.
Yeah, I hate that they continue to play up race or the gender or, you know what I'm saying, sexuality, like, because at the end of the day, to me, a lot of those decisions are like personal decisions, personal choices, things that if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know what I'm saying? But for you to be okay with, for us to say, like, I don't want black people to do this, or I don't want Mexican people crossing the border, so I'm gonna be cool with them like cutting taxes on all the rich people, so the top 1% don't get, like, I don't see how it correlates. You know what I'm saying? My thought is, like, it would be one thing if they were like, hey, we're gonna do this, like, we're gonna make a bill about this and we'll make a bill about that. But it seems like they'll throw like these 5 little bills out here for you, you know what I'm saying, your racist, your sexist, whatever. They'll throw them bills out there, but then they'll have 75-80% of their bills are like economy bills or economic bills, where it's like, where they keep the rich, where they giving contracts to their homeboys, where they, you know what I'm saying? And so the people be so happy about these 5 racial, sexual bills that they're cool with all the other stuff that goes on, or they never speak about it.
A prime example, Z, we stay in Oklahoma, the reddest state out there, one of the reddest states out there. Oklahoma just passed this abortion laws where they made it illegal to have abortions. My wife is crazy to me, very crazy about it. Which, let me just, and I know this is a hot topic amongst a lot of people, especially folks who on the Christian right or whatever the case is, but I never can get past this. Okay, I'm gonna say this as plain as I can. Me and UZ, we can't have babies.
Yep.
We can help. We can provide a certain key to unlock a baby being born.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We can supply the life force to create this child, but the child cannot come out of our bodies.
Yep.
All right. It cannot, you know what I'm saying? We don't have the equipment for that to happen. Period, point blank.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but I just don't feel comfortable if a female came to me and was like, I don't know what to do. Something is going on. Something happened, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry. I've never been in that predicament before, ma'am. No. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I would feel very uncomfortable making a law. You know what I'm saying? That has to deal with you and that going on with you. I just would feel very uncomfortable doing that.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with this woman. I don't know what's happening with, I don't know. And I think having a daughter makes you realize, like, that is just something.
Yeah,
bro.
Agreed.
Yeah. Go talk to your mom about that. Go talk to your auntie. I don't know, me personally. So why could I make a law? Okay. That's my thought on it, bro.
Man, I think one of my closest friends, his name is Laura. You know what I'm saying? And Laura's like my buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember when all the stuff, like when we would have like the stuff with the police, you know what I'm saying, killing the unarmed men and over, you know what I'm saying, this and that. And me and her used to talk about it all the time. And she would come to me and she'd be like, Z, I don't know how, you know what I'm saying, this is, or well, how should I feel about this, or how do we make this right? You know what I'm saying? And me being a black man, I could tell her, like, and she's a white woman, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's put that out there. And I would be like, this is what you should do, or this is what I think you should do. Go and educate yourself to know so and so. But when it comes to these topics, she would come to me because she'd be like, well, you're a black man. So, and it wasn't like she felt like I had to educate her, but me and her were cool, and I could provide that to her.
Yeah, she can try to get an understanding because she knows that you've been through this. This is you live this life. Okay.
So man, and so she would come to me every time it was something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we were super cool like that. And she's probably one of the wokest white women on earth. You know what I'm saying? She's amazing. But I remember in the same token, I would go to Laura and I'd be like, I don't feel comfortable with nothing about abortion. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thought is like, that's a woman's choice. You know what I'm saying? Am I against the act? Do I think abortion is right? Is not of consequence. My thought is that's a woman's body, and if she chooses to make that choice, that's got to be that woman's choice. I can't do that for her. And I would lean to Laura like, hey, Laura, what did you know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, and that's what she would always say all the time. It's a woman's body. How are these men going to tell women what they can do with their bodies? You know what I'm saying? Or things to that nature. So like, and that might be a terrible quote. So Laura, if I messed it up, that's my bad. But my thought would be like, it's at the end of the day, I'm not a woman. And I don't feel comfortable telling them what they can and what they can't do. You know what I'm saying? Just like I don't feel like a white person could tell me how I'm supposed to feel about the N-word or how I'm supposed to feel about certain things. That's not your thing. You don't understand it.
Yeah.
So that's how I
feel
again, about abortion.
I know this is, and like, I mean, I know this is a very hot and debated topic. And I know people will come back with their talking points being like, well, this is for the right of the actual unborn child. And life begins at conception or whatever the case is. Whoop-de whoop-de woo woo woo. Everybody, so you know what I'm saying? Like, what about the child's rights? Blah, 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 blah. Well, does a woman have the right to actually end somebody else's life? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? Again, I'm just gonna say it. I don't feel comfortable talking about what another woman needs to do or what's going on with her. Like, it just as a man, bro, how can you feel comfortable trying to say this is it blows my mind, man.
This is my last thing, and I know we don't probably got into a weird area where we might not have been, but we're here. Let's talk about it.
Let's go. So man.
My thought is, how dare you tell this woman that she can or cannot have a baby, and then when you say it like, well, that's committing murder, right?
Mm-hmm.
But y'all be and this is specifically the y'all are committing murder thing. These be the same people who be for the death penalty. Like, so it's not cool.
It's cool one way, but it's
not cool to kill an unborn baby, per se, what you say. But then y'all killing these grown men in courts of law that are historically biased. So there's a flaw there, and y'all are totally cool with that. So that's what threw me off.
Okay, so yeah. Man, I'm sorry if I had to bring this up, but we got into the weeds here on Chopping It Up. But this is what we do.
Weeds.
This is what we do. We get in just about everything and do what we do here. And I you know what? I got one more thing to say about it, man. Because well, here's the thing, man. Is like I feel like people's I hope because I feel like this is one of those topics that people literally just talk over people with. People literally get, you know what I'm saying, in the trenches, and they're not looking to change any minds. Because I feel like a lot of people just really have their opinion, and it's the extreme of it. The extreme of it. And then some people are just like, I don't care. I feel like I'm in that middle road. I can't really make this decision because I'm a man. So this is one of those things where I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't have a baby. So sorry. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit up here and draw a distinction and say, oh, this woman should not do that. I don't care if I personally feel like the act is bad. Yeah. I just cannot put myself in this woman's position to be like, you can't not do this, period. Even though this is your body, you can't do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like outlawing vasectomies. If a woman got on TV and was like, men cannot have you know what I'm saying?
It's exactly the same thing.
We're gonna put this law that no man can go to the doctor and ask for a vasectomy. It's just wrong. You're sewing up something that's natural. Like, excuse me.
If I don't want to have no more babies,
I don't want to have no more babies. I'm you.
I don't know, man.
Jack. I can't be popping out these kids no more.
Dude,
so
it's crazy to me too, because the thing is, like, Republicans traditionally run on less government. But wouldn't less government means not telling me what decisions I can make?
I don't understand it, brother. I don't get it either. Again, that's this Republican Party, man. I can't get down with it. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, whew, Jesus. So that's chopping it up with G and Z in the weeds. Thank you,
in
Z,
the
for
weeds.
Thank you, Z, for allowing us to go there for a little bit.
No problem. Glad we went.
All right, man. Let's hype it up on some good news before we actually get out of here for the evening. So there was actually a versus that you watched, I know, because you actually texted in between it.
Yes.
I didn't catch any of that because I was so hippity hop deep in the playoffs, baby. There was some good games going on. But you decided you went, and man, shout out to you, bro, because I know it was good because you posted about it, you talked about it. Anyway, give your thoughts on it, man.
Bro, so it was crazy because it was like a church versus. You know what I'm saying? It was Mary Mary versus BB and CC Winans. You know what I'm saying? And they was like in a full-fledged church. You know what I'm saying? And it was some celebrities there. Like it was in, bro. When I talk about singing, bro, they were singing. And I'm not a huge Mary Mary fan. You know what I'm saying? I know some of their songs, but I'm not a huge fan. My wife, Alika's she knew most all the songs, but I didn't know Mary Mary could sing that way, man. I was just like, ooh. And then crazy was like BB and CC Winans is like 54 and 56.
They still sound the same,
bro. This dude BB was out killing. Now CC sounded like maybe she, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know. If it
lose
was
a little octaves.
No, she could still sing. I don't know if it was like a wind thing or maybe she was tired. She sung the notes, but she wasn't like
blowing the notes.
Like she could blow. She hit a few notes though to let you know, like, let me tell you what I can do. But the girls from Mary Mary was, and then the crazy thing was like it was one of those good verses where everybody knows everybody's songs. So
they were singing it together.
Mary Mary was singing verses, like singing songs with BB Winans, and I was like, oh, and then they were singing songs together, bro.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was super dope, man. It was real good, man. It was like a good verses, you know what I'm saying? Especially coming off of music and Anthony Hamilton, man. We needed to hear somebody just get in there and sing something.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, the Anthony Hamilton one. Anthony Hamilton was good to me, but music. Whew, Jesus. All right.
Music sounded like even chewing rocks. I don't know what he was doing. I was like, bro, what is that?
So
Mary Eva. Is this, bro? What is that?
Like,
and he kept doing the runs. He kept I was like, bro,
sing with me because I can't do this no more.
Yeah, like no, bro.
It's terrible, man. Terrible. All right, man. So anything else you wanted to bring up, man, before we actually call it a night?
Bro, the ultimatum.
Oh, snap. I almost forgot. Z, my bad, man. So listen, if anybody who watched the pod last week knows that me and Z both married. And as married men, we're obliged to actually watch series with our wives. And we talk about this. You know what? I ain't even gonna apologize for this, man.
I ain't apologizing for nothing.
Me and my wife have found these shows to be very enlightening, as crazy as they are.
Yep.
And as messy as they are, is full-blown entertainment, baby.
Messy.
I mean, messy, bro. I'm sitting here watching this show like, baby, is this for real? This is not a joke. This is for real, for real. So this is a show on Netflix called The Ultimatum.
Yes.
And I guess I'll give you a breakdown of the show real quick, man, if you want to go over like some of the craziest things that y'all saw and what y'all got from it. But so the breakdown is they get, what was it, five couples, six couples or something like that?
Was it 6 couples? I think it was 6 couples.
They start for 6. Okay, so they get 6 couples. Now, in each one of these couples, either the man or the woman has given the other person an ultimatum. So either you marry me or we're pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
So what has happened is, so they get these couples all together. And this has got to be like the craziest idea ever.
Yeah.
So they get all these couples together. And they basically will switch partners. So for the first couple of days, they'll mingle, and they'll find someone that they have to stay with for 3 weeks, see if they have a connection, and see if they want to leave the person they came there with, or you know what I'm saying, they don't have a connection, they want to make things work, whatever the case is, and then they'll spend another 3 weeks back with their original partner that they came with.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the whole series, they either will you know what I'm saying, get the engagement that they're wanting, and the ultimatum would have worked, whatever the case is,
Mm-hmm.
or they would have left alone, split up, or they just leave together and they just kind of keep focusing on the relationship. So that's the premise of the show.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, and yes, it is crazy.
It is crazy.
So Z, what was you and Lika's thoughts on this whole show, man?
Bro, like initially I was like, this is like super crazy. I was like, there's no way that I could just, because the thing was like they came as couples like day one, and then like day two they were like we're broke up and we're mingling in front of our ex now.
In front of them. That's
bro. So first of all, that was craziness. And then once you get past the thought of the series, then all the foolishness started happening. Like, so there was a younger white lady, and like her whole spiel was like, I want to live financially this way. Financially, I want to so-and-so. Financially, so-and-so. And like she was killing everybody with financially. And the dude was like, I don't see a future with me and you. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, so when he said it, she looked him in the face like, what? And then she walked off. She stormed off. And so the next morning they were chilling, and she came and sat down, and she was like, did you next me? I think you nexted me, and there's no way. And he was like, he said, sometimes I say things the wrong way. So let me be clear in what I say to you. I do not find you attractive. I was and then her face, she was like, what? What do you mean you don't find me attractive? Bro, like, and then from like there, it was crazy, man, for the week they was dating and all the stuff that happened then. And then like when they all like, man, like the proposals, the proposals before, like two of the dudes was just like, bro, nobody likes me. And one of the girls was like, nobody likes me either. And they was just like, I'm done with this show. Like, let's leave. You know what I'm saying? And then outside of that, man, what I thought was funny was one of the dudes who did the proposal, he had told one of the girls, he was like, I'm gonna choose you. He was like, I'm gonna choose you. And then when it came his time and the dude chose his girlfriend, he was like, oh no, I'm out.
Oh no.
So he was like, you and my family, I want to propose to you. And then everybody started like, oh, your proposal's fake. Ain't nothing changed since y'all got here. Why would you propose now? And the lady April, April was like, this is so and so, and this is blah and blah. And her and the dude were arguing back and forth. And then he said something, and then the little light-skinned military dude, what's his name, Jake?
Yeah, Jake.
He was like, the dude was fussing with his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, and he let it go for a little bit, and then he was like, he had enough. He leaned back in that chair. He said, what you gonna do is let her finish her sentence. And the dude was like,
okay.
Dude, it was crazy. So between that and then just the situations, the dude Zay crying every time he got a chance, I was like, bro, this is craziness.
Hey, listen. So, man, there were so many different things that we. So I got to say this, man. So like we, me and the wife, we watched it. So just so people don't think this is a whole bunch of nothing but messiness, we actually did talk about our own personal relationship. You know what I'm saying? Watching some of these people and how they argued, how they actually, you know what I'm saying? Because, we talked about it last week a little bit, like, communicating with our wives, communicating with our spouses. And it's something that we have to learn. It's something we have to commit to actually trying to learn, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And so we talked, because when you watch how they argue, you're like, why are you arguing this way? You know what I mean? Like one dude would get mad and literally he wouldn't say nothing. He would just walk off. And I was like, baby, ain't that crazy? And she was like, well, you used to do that. And I was like, ooh, I did do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to, it's just area for growth, I should say, an area to mature at. So we did talk about that. But one of the messy things that I found was hilarious. Not only when the dude was like, yeah, you just not attractive. That was hilarious.
Yes, that was hilarious.
But the reunion episode, the very end, when they get together and they talk about how, you know what I'm saying, what's happened 6 months after this whole debauchery took place. the first thing that was crazy to me is how the girl came out and she was 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. You better hope that baby don't come out black.
Yeah, that's Randall's baby. How's that baby Pappy?
I'm just kidding. If she ever watches this, I'm just kidding. I hope y'all, yeah, whatever. But the funniest part was when what's his name? Zay. The black dude, Zay, he was like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why you
doing all this
reason
with
why
me and
you
you
didn't go out because you was still sleeping with me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that was so
I'm like,
messy, man.
that dog, come on, man. You don't want to put that out there like
That's
that.
it's so terrible, man.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. I felt like there was a moment of hurt on him. And he just kind of came, he just kind of spit that out there like he wanted everybody to know like
that he was still like, bro, that was so. I think for me, when we watch these shows, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's crazy situations, but I think it gives you a chance for you to sit and talk to your wife or for you to see stuff that you do too. You know what I'm saying? Or find out what triggers are. The young black girl, Shanique, she was so like, to me, she was so cool and she was very like, this is what I want, this is what I am. But every time she got mad, she would just start cussing. And she would be, I was like, oh,
what you not gonna do is talk to me. I was like,
oh no, the cussing.
No, that's not how you approach the conversation.
You can't. Mama. Yes, you can't. And then the dude Randall was so left field, like he couldn't hear what
he can't communicate right. His words were coming out like, listen, so the sky is not the water, and the water is see how I feel with that. You know, the land, you got to actually walk, but on the water, you can actually fly. And I was like, what is he saying?
All the time. Every time he talked, he was calm, but I didn't know what he meant. I was like, bro, what is this?
Spit it out. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
I don't know, man. I think when you watch them shows, Love is Blind, Ultimatum, Married at First Sight, you know what I'm saying? It just give you, to me, like sometimes you see stuff that you do in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Or sometimes you see stuff that you do. And sometimes you hear something and it'll connect with you and you're like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, baby. I apologize for my early, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, man, I saw that dude. It actually hit her. She was looking at me, hoping I found it, hoping I got it too. I was like, baby, I can't believe you just get up and walk. Man, have a conversation. And she was like, well, you know, I know somebody who used to do that. And I was like,
yeah. You'll see some stuff in there, man. But I mean, it's crazy, man. You'll see. I think we like watching those shows, man, because they give us an opportunity to watch something messy to start off with. But sometimes you'll see some stuff in there too, and you'll be like, oh man, that's craziness. Like or you'll see something that you do, like, oh, he's shutting down. Like, oh, he's shutting down. No, I was like, oh, yep, I can tell when somebody's shutting down. I do that often. And then you'll be like, oh, and then she'll be like, instead of him shutting down. And now she fussing like, oh, don't fuss now. He shut down. He gonna explode. I seen it.
You ain't getting through. It ain't working.
He ain't heard nothing. Or you can see it like when they be fussing, they be like, she ain't heard nothing he said, or he's not in a place to receive her message right now. She might be saying things the right way, but looking at his face, you could tell he's not receiving that message at all.
Yeah. And I mean, like, dude, I almost be thinking to myself, like, yeah, you know what? That is true. Sometimes it's not the right time to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Let it be for just about another couple hours. Just let it marinate real good. And
come back to it. Just come back to it when y'all both feel a little better, and we can discuss this in a nice way.
You can see she's or he's mad right now. It's not a good time to actually have this conversation.
I'm sorry too. And then and this is probably gonna sound terrible, man, but what I did see and what stuck to me, and I text you too, was like Zay tricking it off and then Kobe tricking it off. It was like these women had told these dudes specifically, like she said, right now I don't want to be engaged, right? And he said, I don't know, blah 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 blah. And so she said I'm not feeling good, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take this medicine and I want to lay down, you know what I'm saying? She said, and then he was going to the club. She said, you know what? If you could just stay at home with me tonight, that would make me feel so much better. And he was like, what you say, Dre Dog? I'm on my way. So on top of him not staying at home when she specifically asked him to stay at home,
he literally was like, I ain't got
he literally stayed out until the next day.
Yeah, 8:00 in the morning.
And then when he came home, he's like, "What's up, baby?" She was like, "I don't want you no more." And he was like, "What do you mean you don't want me no more?
Why are you mad at me,
bro? You had that on the table. You tricked that off." And that's, I think, for me as a man, I think you look at those situations where a woman has probably told you exactly what she needed from you, and your pride or you and your feelings so much that you just, I got to go and prove my point, and then you end up being the one hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, man. That's a good way to look at it. I ain't gonna lie though. I felt like from the moment they started, she wasn't a good fit for him, though. I will say that. Because she's the one that gave the ultimatum. And he was like, okay. But then, like, from the very first day, you know what I'm saying? Like, she acted like she didn't want him.
No, so I didn't get that from her at all. I feel like she really liked him.
Very off.
I feel like she really liked, for me, I felt like she really liked him, and she was trying to super cater to him. But he was so
she really liked the other dude.
I thought he was so into what he was into. He went, because she was like, they was like, "What do you do?" He was like, "I'm a social influencer and I'm a promoter." And she was like, "I understand that he's gonna be out all the time. I just want him to tell people that he has a girlfriend. I want him to post pictures of us. I just don't want him to hang out so late, so often." Like, so she wasn't saying stop doing this. You know what I'm saying? She just like, and he was like, "This is what I do. This is who I am." But then at the end of the day, you was the one hurt because she ain't with you no more. Or you got to make a sacrifice to me.
Well, again, but also too, maybe all these people in their 20s.
Yep, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey,
they weren't like 21. They were like 28, 29, 30. They were of age.
Did you see that? Wait, I gotta say, there was a meme. The girl who was like, "I am not ugly," when the dude was like, "I'm not very attracted to you." I was like, they put her face up and they was like 25, whatever her name was. And me and my wife was like, she do not look like she's 25 years old. Bro. She gotta be like 38, 39. Like,
that's the first thing me and Alika said, was like, ain't no way. She old. Look at her face. What has she done to her face? Like, no.
Oh, Skeletor looking. Bro, I was like, man, get out of here.
There's no way she's 25. 25 might.
No. Anyway, man, that was hilarious. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, man. So that was our messy
our messy moment of the week.
Messy pop of the week. There'll probably be another show coming out here pretty soon, I'm sure. They love putting these shows out now. So
yeah.
And I don't know what I just don't understand what makes people. I guess people just want to have 15 minutes or so.
And I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't know. I think most of the time these people really want their 15 minutes now, because it ain't really like what it used to be. Like, I think that first time we watched Love Is Blind, remember the black lady and the white man, like they still married and they still together, ain't they? Yeah, they got like they were planning on having a family.
They found that.
Then it was and it was the white lady and the white man too from that first season that really liked each other. Remember, they came to the reunion and the girl was like, "Well, I just want to give you this gift," and he said, "Look, my wife don't like you. I don't want to be around you. I don't." Those are like regular marriage situations, man. Yeah. Look, bro.
Like, hey,
I love my wife and she hates you. Don't give me nothing. I don't want to touch the gift.
We can't be friends.
Don't be in my space. My wife is gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey.
But I think when you have like the dude like Shake, who was like, I should like her, but she's really not attractive to me, or so and so. Oh, like, bro, who are you?
Yeah, I was like, dude, you. But I think he wanted to be like
he just wanted to be on the show. He seemed like he wanted that publicity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they even said it afterwards, like, dude, we think you came onto the wrong show.
Yeah.
And agreed. So all right, man. So let's close up the session here, dude. Anything else you wanted to hit on?
Nah, that's all I got, bro.
All right, peoples. Well, thank you for checking us out. Thanks for the people that support us. Please share, like, comment. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hear something, let us know. Blah 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 blah. You can find us. Where is he?
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook. Actually, now on Facebook, you could post the episode and you can listen to the episode while you're scrolling on Facebook. So,
word.
Word.
Hey, look, man, something new. That's technology, boy. I tell you.
I'm telling you.
Good stuff. So check us out, y'all. Hit us up at the Facebook. Send us a message. Let us know you digging it, or let us know what we can talk about that you want to hear. Hey. All right. Appreciate it, y'all. Y'all be easy.
All right, bro. Y'all be easy now.